let me tell you about today's show. Yeah. In my second hour, I'll be joined by the men who created the hit animated sitcom South Park. They've now brought their adults-only Broadway smash musical Book of Mormon to London. My chat with Matt Stone and Trey Parker will be on around about 11:30. In my third hour, I'll be talking to the man who gave us the Evil Dead movies, the Spider-Man trilogy, and now Oz the Great and Powerful. Hollywood director Sam Raimi will be on the show at 12:30. Can I just say, between the three of those, they could buy Britain, couldn't they? The money they have. Joining me now, my first guests of the day, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, creators of South Park, but now, very excited, the Book of Mormon, which arrives in London. Congratulations. I've seen it twice on Broadway.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, thanks.
Just loved it.
Thank you.
Loved it. The first time I just, I didn't know what. Second time I paid top dollar to see it. And I sat beside a lady and she said, we were in the very, very front row, and she was by herself, and she said, "Do you know what this is about?" Because she'd asked, it had basically won the Tony for Best Musical, so she just bought a ticket to the Best Musical. She liked it in the end.
Yeah. No, I mean that was a crazy, during previews and everything. Like, we would see a lot of old ladies come and see it, and we would definitely. It was great because we'd see so many of them definitely sitting there with their mouths open and kind of looking at each other, but then you realize they were like girlfriends having a good time and going, "Can you believe what we're watching?" And by halfway through we kind of had them, and they always seemed to enjoy it
because it is a proper Broadway musical.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's no.
Sure. It's it's got the structure of a Broadway musical. It's got big numbers. It's
Yeah, we didn't come into it saying, "Okay, let's try to reinvent Broadway" or anything like that. Like, we love Broadway, so we wanted to do a very traditional musical. And in terms of structure and in terms of why the songs go where they go and all of that, it really does rely on an old structure.
But we must stress that it is quite out there, the content, some of it at least.
Yeah, it's a little unconventional, I think. Yeah, that would be. I mean, it is. I mean, I think that Trey and I, like Trey said, we started this and we wrote it with Bobby Lopez, and the three of us got together. And one of the first meetings we had, we said we want to make a traditional, big, great Broadway musical that you leave the theater feeling good. But what are we going to do it about? And then when we start getting into that, that's when our kind of personal offensive-ness sort of shows itself. Because this is just the stuff we're interested in, and this is the story we wanted to tell, and it's about some people who need some uplift and in a bad place. So you have to tell that story. And
now there are fewer Mormons in Britain. We don't have a whole state dedicated to them. Do you think that will make it easier for people to laugh at it, or harder?
The nice thing is that we, even for us doing this in New York, we kind of had to educate people because we grew up in Colorado, which is right next to Utah, and so we grew up around a lot of Mormons and sort of in the whole Pioneer area. So we knew it pretty well, but even outside of that area of the States, people don't know Mormons they've heard of them, but they really don't know much about them. So we tried to write a show where you do come out of it hopefully knowing a little bit more about Mormons than you did before, and we do tell you in the show what you need to know, and then we make fun of it. But yeah, I mean, I think that it is fun, and I think that I actually think that there's going to be another level to it where they'll actually it not only kind of has fun with Mormons, but it really just kind of makes fun of Americans, and because Mormons really are a good stereotype for just Americans in general, where we think we know what's best and we're very happy-go-lucky and we think everything should be okay and
friendly to a fault.
Yeah, and everyone needs exactly. So we think that out here they'll really get that metaphor, and it might even make it more fun.
No, because in Ireland we used to get Mormons because obviously that must have been a great gig when you went on your mission. Right. Nothing bad happens in Ireland.
Yeah,
people would invite you in for tea.
Right.
And people love talking about religion.
Right.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, you got one? But so the story of the musical is they don't get the good gig. Your young Mormons.
No, the two Mormon missionaries who are the leads in the show get sent to Uganda, northern Uganda. And this was we settled on that. It wasn't really supposed to be specifically. It really is just a representative of a place that we talked about Somalia for a while. We talked about those places in Congo. We talked about, we met missionaries when we did research for the show that really did get sent to some pretty difficult places. And these are 19-year-old kids from Utah who grew up in the suburbs.
They find New York difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I think I find even Ireland, like going halfway around the world, and just that whole, when you're 18 and you leave the home, it's layered on top of that. So we, of course, take our guys though, and we just send them to the worst place on earth, and just a place, one of those places that when you read about it, you just, it always seems to change. A lot of times it's in sub-Saharan Africa, but it's like that place you read about where you just go, God, can't these people get a break? Like they have war, they have famine, they have poverty, they have AIDS, they have, it's just, so they go to that place and they meet those people, and that's the story.
And in terms of people coming to see it, I mean, obviously the Mormons had to have a sort of just an instant reaction to this must be bad, but Mormons who've seen it, can they see that in the end it's rather a sweet message about? Yeah,
I mean, there's the ones that will come to see it are already a select group of Mormons. They're already a pretty tolerant grouping of Mormons, but of that group, they really kind of see it as their Fiddler on the Roof. It really, they because they're able to sit there and watch and go, oh yeah, my dad's kind of like that, and I remember those songs, and I remember this, and I remember being taught that, and they kind of they do kind of think get the same experience as a nice Jew does out of Fiddler on the Roof.
Well, certainly, so long as they don't leave at the interval. I mean, I think if they leave at the interval, they might go with one impression, but if you say to the end, I don't know how to say that word. Is it apologia? Apologia?
Apologia, I think that's it.
Well, look it up anyway. Because it is a kind of for religion. In the end, you say, actually, people need stories. And
that's what we really wanted to make a show about religion, and it's just that Mormonism is the quintessential American new religion, and something where it's like, where people had, that's what the Mormons did in the United States was, they got to this new world, and all the Bible stuff was about the old world and it didn't apply to them. They thought, well, we're in this new place. So this guy came along who said, oh, no, wait, there's a whole new part of the Bible that we haven't seen yet.
I dug it up in my backyard.
I dug it up in my backyard. It's part 3, and it says Jesus was here in the United States, and that the Garden of Eden is in Jackson County, Missouri, and all these things. And so that made people go, oh, this does apply to us, and
now it's relevant.
Yeah, and so we kind of saw that part of the story and said, that's really cool. Let's take a whole new place now and have that all happen again.
And in terms of putting it on, is it? Have you changed it much for Britain?
Nope. No, we haven't changed.
We have not.
No, we haven't. I mean,
we thought of one line. We haven't even tried it out yet, but we might change. The only thing is, we're not sure that people know what Salt Lake City is.
Oh, if they don't, all hope is lost. They really should
that it's the headquarter of Mormonism.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, and that because we never say in the show at the beginning of the show, it starts in Salt Lake City, but we never actually say that.
We never say the words. You're in Salt Lake City right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
We're thinking maybe again we need to say that. I mean, it's a small change. It's like 3 words.
Yeah.
But other than those 3 words,
I wouldn't bother.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
make them work for it. Yeah.
We're saying it right now. The first part of the show happens in Salt Lake City. There. Now we.
Yeah. You've won loads of Tonys. You don't need to kowtow to these people. They should be grateful you came. Right. We're going to have a song for the Broadway cast recording. It's been through the firewall, and and this survived. And this is you and me, but mostly me. Where does this come in the story? What do we need to know?
This is fairly early on. What happened? Mormon missionaries, they get paired together and they get sent somewhere away when they're about 19, and so these 2 kids have just been paired together. They found out where they're going, which is northern Uganda. They're at the airport in Salt Lake City, about to leave for that. And there's just sort of a very standard Broadway kind of type thing going on, where one's the big leading man, the big heroic guy, and the other one's kind of the oaf that's going to have to follow in the lead guy's footsteps. And so this is sort of the new guy, or the hero guy, saying in a very nice way, just let me handle all this and you stay in the shadows.
And that's from the 2011 Broadway cast recording of The Book of Mormon. It won a Grammy. Yeah, it won a Grammy. You can't. It's good, isn't it?
It's fun to go to the Grammys.
Yeah. Are you planning to write another musical now?
I don't know about not right.
This one seriously took us about 7 years. I mean, it really. We took our time with it, and the last thing we'd want to do is pull a Miss Saigon, where we spend all this time doing Les Mis and then write Miss Saigon in a year, and it really, it
try Martin Guerre.
Yeah.
Woo. Now, you didn't try this out, did you? It just arrived on Broadway.
It did, yeah. I mean, we talked about trying it out off Broadway.
I'm not surprised.
We talked about it, and that was the original plan because we really wanted to do it like Broadway musicals do it. I mean, we were really following the traditional, not just structure, but the traditional way you do it. And then, I don't know, it just got to the point where we had done, like Trey said, we'd worked on it for 7 years, and for a lot of reasons, we had done a couple extra workshops than other musicals did, and we just felt confident, and I don't know, we just decided to go for it.
We didn't even, before this, have any experience with how these were put together, and that you did these workshops where you basically cast the whole thing, you rehearse it, and you put it on in front of like 40 or 50 people. And that's how you're able to kind of see it and then make all your changes and everything. And we had been doing that for like 4 years, and we kept having these huge, amazing standing ovations of 40 people at the end of it. And we're like, it seems to work pretty well. Like, I don't know that we need to really change a whole lot. And so, and I remember on one of the last previews we had, it was the fall, where, I mean, not previews, but the workshop we were doing, and Stephen Sondheim came and sat next to me, and one of the 40 people was Stephen Sondheim.
Wow.
And the thing got over, and everyone got up on their feet and was clapped, and he's like, "You're ready, take it to Broadway." And I was like, "Yes, sir," and we did.
And also, presumably because of South Park, the enormous success of South Park, does that give you the kind of...
it gave us a brand.
And confidence.
Yeah, it gave us something to market it on. And the Book of Mormon from the creators of South Park, that kind of says something different than just the Book of Mormon.
Yes.
So that helped us. That helped, maybe, except for the old lady that you sat next to, maybe you should know before you go in the theater what you're getting into.
Yeah. Yes. Because maybe we haven't stressed it enough. I mean, bits of it are really out there. Bits of it will be offended, but if you're offended, you're stupid.
Yeah.
I think it's important to point that out too. Look at the producer, head in hands. No, seriously. Right, so people have emailed in some questions and things for you.
All right.
So these are random. These will be about anything. Okay. So Paul and Stevenage wants to know, how long does it take to make an episode of South Park?
1 week. We basically
week.
We show up on we realize it's very similar to the schedule of Saturday Night Live in the States. We show up on Thursday morning with our coffees, and we're like, okay, what are we doing this week? And we start coming up with things. We throw out sketches. We throw out ideas that are going on.
How many people are sitting around this table?
6.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
That's incredible, isn't it?
And a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, Thursday, we kind of know what we're doing, and then we add more to it and more to it. It's really like sculpting, and then we get certain scenes, we'll get in there. The nice thing is we do everything in one building, so we can write a scene, record it, have it drawn, look at it, start getting it animated all in a matter of hours, and then say, okay, this doesn't work, let's try something else.
Katie in Newbury is mainstream American TV is known for being conservative. When South Park began, was there a backlash?
No, I don't. There wasn't really a backlash.
There was whatever the opposite of a backlash is. That's
whatever the opposite. Where you just
what is that people were hungry
we had a
for?
front lash.
Yeah. It just got really popular, and people started like putting us on magazine covers and stuff. Whatever. I don't know if that's a backlash.
Yeah. And is it true that the soft toys and all that stuff, that's kind of the main business? That actually that's where all the money comes from?
Oh, I don't know if that's the main business. I think it really took off in the first couple of years of the show, where it was like a lot of T-shirts and
so they've got all their toys now.
I think everyone's got all their toys and shirts and kind of already put those away.
Well, the fascinating for a while. I mean, we've been around for so long now that we went through the whole phase where it was like, oh, all the money's in the T-shirts, and then later it was, oh wait, now it's DVDs, and it was all about like, wow, you can put a TV show onto the DVD, you can put your whole series on a DVD. We were sort of the first group to do that, and we're like, oh, that's where all the money was, the DVDs, and now all the money's with things like Netflix and Xbox and all that stuff, where it's just like, now that's where all the money is. It's crazy.
The next is going to be some weird blue marble that you put in your ear to like.
And because is South Park popular all over the world?
I don't know about all of it. I mean, obviously here it does well, and in Australia it does well. It shows in a lot of countries, but it also like there's a few countries where like I don't even know how we don't do the translations. We have no idea how it ends up,
or if anyone's laughing.
Yeah, we have no idea. So. I've seen a list before of all the countries it shows in, but I don't know how many people watch that.
Well, our favorite. There's a I can't remember where it's in. It's an Asian country.
It's in Taiwan. Where they just rewrite.
Where they actually don't even pay it. They don't know what we're saying, so they all they get it and they turn all the volume down and they all sit there and kind of figure out what they think the show's about.
And they just mouth new stuff.
And they mouth new stuff in their language and everything. And we're like, that is awesome.
And local they feature local celebrities. They just say, well, that's so and so, that politician, and they just make that person that name.
That's genius.
Isn't that cool? We thought about then getting one of those, retranslating it back to English and airing it. How cool
and finding out.
And then we'll do the voices.
Yeah, what the hell they're saying. And did you guys produce Book of Mormon yourselves?
We did with, me and Trey and Ann Garofino, who's our producer on South Park, and Scott Rudin, who we've worked with before. Basically, the four of us produced it.
Yeah.
That was really smart, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that turned out to be a good idea.
That worked out well.
It could have gone badly, but it didn't.
Yeah, because you kind of think, it's a musical. How much can that cost?
Yeah. Well, and that's, those 7 years, it was really just Matt and I, because when you do these workshops, you've got to hire a cast. You've got to get a space in New York to put it on. You've got to do all this stuff. And so Matt and I were just paying for that out of our own pockets, but we got that money back.
Yeah, and then some. Yeah, and now you're going to have some English pounds.
Yeah, to add to our collection.
Yeah, because it's the pre-sales are amazing, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's doing really well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Look at them. Yeah, it's doing really well. Yeah. We're going out for lunch. Yeah, somewhere real fancy.
Yeah,
we're going to have wine.
We're going to Claridge's.
The Book of Mormon is in preview at the Prince of Wales Theatre, and it opens officially on March 21st. Thank you so much for coming in.
Cool,
thank you very much. Much clapping. This is quiet zoo radio.
Nice.
It's just me, the sound of one DJ clapping. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks.